a monster inside of me. You better watch out if you ignite me. The road ahead of full prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he grows me. And he gets claws real big, pissed off quick. And if you cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling this war. Never getting bored, loves the blood and
Let's go!
More freedom from the source. They don't really understand until they feel the fourth departed. If you start shit, you'll be heartless in the darkness. Torn apart quick, you left scars ripped to be chewed up.
Welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you know where you are. Welcome to the show, everybody. Kchris, welcome in, along with Ty Hayes from Around the Table Sports. We're going to break down that debacle in Lawrence. I'll go ahead and go to you, Kchris. I know you want to vent real quick, so get it done.
Jeff Lebby, you got to go. Jeff Lebby, we paying you all this money to do what? It's too cute. What this game boils down to for me is simply this. We have an offensive coordinator who in the closing minutes of the game, 2 minutes left in the game, can't call any plays to close out the game. Can't close out the game. Will not run the ball when he needs to run the ball, but wants to go out there and run jet sweeps with Gavin Freeman, who can't cut up the field. With Jalil Farouk, who is one of your better wide receivers, you're taking one of your threats away. As soon as Andrell Anthony went down, it's like Jeff Lebby said, screw it. We can't throw it deep anymore. Let's just play a very concise game. The fact of the matter is that I knew it was going to come back and hurt us at some point, and it did this year. The same thing that he ran, the same plays that he ran against SMU appeared today. Those tight formations, we cannot run that. The offensive line is not good enough to run that. They're not. So whenever you are going out there running these tight formations and they're putting 8 guys in a box and they're counting the box and they're daring you to throw it and you don't throw it, when you have Nick Anderson, you have Jaden Gibson, it makes no sense. On all of those 2-point conversions, why not spread the field out? Put Nick Anderson on one side, put Jaden Gibson on the other side, put Stogner in the middle, figure out who has the best matchup, throw the fade route, be done with it. Or run the ball. But again, I'm just going to say this right here. Something has to happen with Jeff Lebby because I feel like Venables is taking a step in coaching this year. But Jeff Lebby, I don't know. And I don't know what the problem is. But we've seen this for the last 3 games. I know. I said, hey, man, Lebby did decent in the Red River game. But then when you start thinking about it, that was more Dylan Gabriel with his legs.
Yeah.
I'll pass the mic, but I'm just going to say this right here. This game boils down to Jeff Lebby because from the fact of the matter is that he said in his mind, his game plan was, I'm going to match them toe for toe, pound for pound, play for play with all this trick and all this cute stuff instead of just pounding the rock and establishing a run, which you were able to do today, which everybody's been asking you to do today. I'm going to establish the run, then I'm going to throw it. So when you look at this loss, Sooner Nation, I don't put it on any players. Don't put it on anybody else's back. This is squarely on Jeff Lebby's shoulders. That's all I got to say.
Ty?
Yeah, so look, coming into this game, we've had some conversations about Jeff Lebby on the channel. And before this game, I haven't thought that his play calling has been overly problematic. I think that he has had some things he's wanted to accomplish, and the lack of a consistent running game up to this point for Oklahoma has hindered some of what he's wanted to do. When we look at Lebby offenses, those Lane Kiffin, Bryles off, they're going to try and run the ball. And Oklahoma just hasn't had that running attack that they had last year. They have good backs. It just hasn't come to fruition. But then we get to this game. And Chris, you're 100% right. There is no defense for this game. Let's start breaking this down because your game starts raining heavily. And we've seen this year, right? Where a game will rain heavily And an offensive coordinator will say, okay, it's probably not the best idea to start pitching the ball around right now. Let's run the ball. And Oklahoma established the run beautifully. I mean, if OU, if their rushing attack looked like it did all year, the way it did today, we would have never discussed Oklahoma's lack of a rushing attack relative to what we normally see from an Oklahoma-based offense. Let me put that in there.
269 passing or rushing yards, 269 rushing yards. And they're running the damn ball with receivers, though. Putting receivers in the fucking backfield and running the ball. Why?
Well, here's where it gets problematic. And Chris, this is picking up where you left off. You establish the run game. Weather clears up. You're good to go. You now have their safety all the way in the box. I mean, basically living in the box. Now it's the time to hit them with the RPOs. It's the time to test them down. And you never got there. Instead, you tried to do jet sweeps, quick end arounds, and Kansas played them very well. I mean, Kansas's edges were playing it very well, but the RPO concepts were there. Drake Stoops, to credit Stoops, he is automatic on those RPO concepts. His slants are just, it's right there. You didn't see enough of it. And so I understood watching the game at first, okay, you want to establish the run. I understand why you're thinking that it's raining really hard, establish the run. But once you got that established, why not let Dillon Gabriel cook? And it never happened. Chris, I have to agree. Look, I think that your special teams is not very good. I think we can call a spade a spade. OU's special teams up to this point hasn't been fantastic. But there is no other explanation for this loss than the offensive lack of performance. That's the simple truth here. You hit the nail on the head. We can talk about things. You didn't lose the game because of any of those other things. You didn't.
No, and the thing is that we've been talking about this, though, for weeks. There's too many of these cute little stupid plays, especially with the running game. Always with the damn jet sweep. Always, I mean, and the jet sweep, if somebody doesn't know that that's coming from Jeff Lebby, then they haven't watched one piece of film for the last 2 years, because they run the shit at least 3 times a game. And it rarely works. But Tawi was cooking. He had 23 carries. Let me just tell you something. Farouk had 5 freaking carries in the game. Freeman had 1. That's more than Barnes had.
Yeah.
That was a question. Where is Barnes?
And it's the same amount as Sawchuk. Barnes gets freaking 5 carries. Sawchuk gets 6. And then you got 2 freaking receivers that have more than one. And even with the other, it's ridiculous.
Look, y'all put Petaway in the slot and let him cook. It's over.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna get to that. But I want to say this right here. I want everybody to listen to this. Okay. Hats off to Kansas. Y'all did what y'all needed to do to win. Give y'all that. This ain't got nothing to do with Kansas. So whenever the Texas fans try to run with these clips or try to say this and that or whatnot, that's fine. Just listen. This ain't got nothing to do with Kansas. Kansas did what they needed to do.
They took care of business. Coming into
this week, tea leaves. You hear that? You heard that? Petaway was getting run. Was that there? He was going to be a part of the offense. Different things like that. I don't know what to believe now, because it's like Jeff Lebby. He is so enamored with these cute plays, these tight formations. Ty, I'm glad you're on this show. Why? Because on this episode here, I want you to see, okay? No. Excuse me. Let me flip that around. I can see now what you were talking about with Bill O'Brien last year. He does not help anybody. Lebby does not help anybody.
When you see it, it's impossible to unsee.
When you see it, it's impossible. We're running jet sweeps. We're running all these little crazy trick plays on these 2-point conversions. Just throw the ball. Just run the ball. Line up and hit them. You were able to establish that. When Tawi went down with the ankle injury or whatnot, you still were getting pushed. But you go away from that and you break the rhythm. I'm sorry, but I have to go back to that very last drive. Well, not the last drive that we had, but the drive before that. How are you going to go 3 plays and run it, and then on 4th and 7 say, "Oh my God, let's go for it" on our 50-yard line when they've been able to move the ball at certain points of the game? It made no sense. Then we get a false start penalty, and you're just sitting there saying, "What are we doing? Why now? Why is now the time that we're just going to run damn slants and try to see if we can find Drake open somewhere with the slants?" It just made no sense.
Yeah.
If I may hop in here on that, Jason.
Yeah, do it.
You have
bring that up too, but go ahead.
I'll be brief then.
Go.
You have an incredible quarterback in terms of his timing in the RPO system, right?
Dude,
like
he did his thing today.
Wizard in the RPO system.
Go ahead.
Exactly. No, 100%, man. Look, the RPO system and these slant passes, I know a lot of people I've talked to, they're like, oh, well, the slant passes are very easy. The slant passes can be so tough to stop. If you have a quarterback that the second that wide receiver plants and drives, they're slinging that rock. Tua, Dylan Gabriel, they're very good at the timing of these RPO systems. To piggyback off of something Chris said, we do have to give Kansas credit here. They came in with their lunch pail ready to work. They went out and did what they needed to do. Yeah. The reason why I was so perplexed with all these jet sweeps is Kansas's edges. We were talking about it in a group chat. The play Dylan Gabriel scored on the goal line looked like a read option concept. I'm not sure if that's what it was. Maybe it was just a really good fake, and it was always a quarterback run. I have no way of knowing. But I thought it was a read option, and it looked like he pulled the ball because number 1 from Kansas crashed on the running back. Well, as soon as he pulled it, 1 from Kansas planted his left leg and shot to DG like he came out of a cannon. And that was an unbelievable play from an edge. DG still got the touchdown. DG made a play. He planted a leg. He powered through.
Oh, bro, he punked that guy. That dude was making plays all damn day, and he punked his ass.
Yeah.
Look. But you got to go down and get a first down right there. You got to go down and get a first down when you get that other interception. That is it. If you can't get a first down right there, what the hell are we talking about? And then, I mean, obviously it was 3rd and 7. I didn't like the freaking second down call or the 3rd down call. But then it goes to 4th and 7, and then it gets to 4th and 12 because Nick jumps off sides. That was a good baiting him by the corner. He did a good job. But the bottom line is that they made too many mistakes today. It's not all on Jeff Lebby, number 1. It's not. Because there were mistakes made. Hell, Key Lawrence dropped a freaking easy interception right there.
It would have sealed the game.
Jason,
I'm with you on that. Listen, I'm with you that I don't like the play calling any more than you do. I'm telling you, there were enough mistakes made, stupid penalties down there by the goal line. I don't care what anybody says. When he goes to slide and Pearson hits that dude in the freaking at all period, this is what I am sick and tired of Reggie Pearson too. That dude is undisciplined as all hell.
Jason,
you can't do that on a 3rd down.
Jason, look. Okay. This is the first time this has ever happened. I have to disagree with you simply because I get it. 38 points. All the rest of that stuff. The last touchdown was a freebie, but I have to disagree with you. Bro. You went down there and got the stops that you needed. Really? You got 2 key interceptions back. Right you
don't hit that dumbass when he's sliding into the end zone.
I get that, Jason. I get that. But the fact of the matter is, with 2 minutes and something seconds left in the game, you go down there, you get an interception and get the ball down on your own.
You got to get a first down. I agree with that. I'm not saying anything about that. They got to get a first down there. They do.
The defense can, but that's the problem. They bail them out. But this is the problem. Last week, you go down, you have 4 straight 3 and outs, and you're not playing complimentary football because you won't unleash this offense.
Yep. No, I agree.
And the reason why it kills me is simply because early this morning, I'm sitting there telling my aunt, you know what, it's gonna be okay. I feel like, hey, 1 year out of, I don't care if people say he has called plays or he hasn't called plays, whatever the case may be, whatever you want to say about Lebby. But the fact of the matter is that everywhere that he's been, they've ran the damn ball. And I was going to give him a mulligan this year just to say, okay, we'll figure it out next year. Everybody be a year older. We'll be fine. All the rest of that stuff. But the fact of the matter is, man, is that this has been consistent. This has been consistent. And this is what we saw last year. Those 5 games that we talk about that we lost by 1 scores. There's a few of them where you could say those are squarely on his shoulders.
The play calling is uneven at best. This cute stuff is sucky, and I'm not saying that the lion's share doesn't go to Lebby. That's not what I was saying. But there were still opportunities to finish that game off too.
There were still opportunities. I will give you that.
That ball was in Key's hands. All you had to do was squeeze it, man.
But the fact of the matter is simply this right here. And I'm sorry I keep going back to Lebby, but I'm going to say this right here too.
Well, you're an attorney. You go back to the but not if for.
Yes.
I know because I know.
But the point of the matter, the fact is, the simple fact is this right here. We run the same cute shit every game. It's never anything different. It's the same stuff. Not even a double pass. We rarely see a flea flicker. We rarely see any trick pass trick play where it's something that you just like, oh man, that's really creative. It's the same shit every game. See,
I think my biggest question with that, Chris, is how much of the cute stuff has been in order to, because you're 100% on the money. Lebby likes to run the ball. OU hasn't been able to run the ball between the tackles the way they wanted to this year.
We're doing it today.
Up until today, no doubt about it, Jason. Today notwithstanding, right? We'll put today in a vacuum for right now. Up until this point, a lot of the cute calls, I don't disagree with you, but I thought that there was at least a reasoning behind them because, hey, I need to spread out this defense east and west to be able to attack you north and south. So at least in some areas, there was a method to the madness. Today, when you establish the run, that's where it started to make no sense to me, man, because you accomplished north and south. You had north and south. It wasn't necessary to establish east and west anymore, and yet you continued
why would you ever go back to east and west when you're running between the tackles? Ever.
You had it established, and then you never relied on that RPO game. If you can run up the middle and then you start that RPO, you put a defense on their heels because they have to worry about everything, absolutely everything.
Folks,
yeah,
there's 153 people in here right now. We got 12 likes. This is not our fault that freaking Oklahoma lost. Hit the like button.
Oh, hey man, hit that like button. You got the Hall of Fame, the college. Oh my God, I'm so screwed up.
160 people. We got 12 freaking likes. Let's go.
Yeah, you got the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. You got Around the Table Sports. You got the Horns Down podcast as well. Go ahead and hit those like buttons. Subscribe to everybody's channel on here. But these are facts. Everybody, look, I may disagree with you, Jason, but there's nothing wrong with what you said. Ty says it all the time. Two truths can exist at the same time.
No, and I'm not. Hey, look, I don't care. I'm with you on it, and I don't disagree with what you're saying either. I've been the one that has taken up for Jeff Lebby for the last 2 years. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done because, and we've said it the last 2 weeks, you and I have been on this show right here saying the same thing, that running, why in the hell do you have receivers in the backfield taking handoffs?
No, I don't understand that. Even trying to establish a running, that I don't understand.
The run game was established. He had 23 carries for 146. 23, and he wasn't even gassed. It's not like they ran him over and over and over again, but right back to back to back. Tawi was fine, and he had a week off. Hell, he had 3 weeks off.
Outside of the pass, yeah, exactly. Outside of the pass to Fairchild, you did what you needed to do on the back end of that defense for the most part all day. You were able to keep them from being able to hit that little, because you know how they do. They set you up with that run, and then at some point they're going to try to take a shot. You got to
give love to Kansas for what they did too. They did their part, but honestly though, when you shoot yourself in the foot here, they did it multiple times in multiple ways. You're right, but the play calling is bad. It's bad, and I've been a Jeff Lebby apologist. I've Because look, that wasn't the issue last year. Defense was the issue. Now defense is PG was saying during our little group chat thing earlier about, what did he say? He was saying that he was talking about that, the defense is going to have to carry us here. Well, yeah, that's fine. It's been 15 years since they can. But you know what? When it's time for you to go down there and punch one in or just get a damn first down, you got to go get that. You got to go get that first down. And when you're running stupid plays like that, where, man, I'm sick of seeing Gavin Freeman running that damn end around play. And that jet sweep is so overused in this offense. It's so overused. And I mean, he doesn't even like vary it to do it out of different sets or do it differently. It's all the same shit. Everybody's seen it 3 times a game for 2 years. They know it's coming, Jeff.
I've said it. I keep saying that. I keep saying that. I keep saying that. It's the same shit every game. It's the same jet sweep.
Everybody's on it. They haven't changed they haven't even changed the freaking formation.
No.
Hey, Chris?
I'm gonna tell y'all and see, this is what kills me, because the beautiful thing, whenever you do stuff like that, man, you set yourself up for little wrinkles, right? So you do jet sweep, jet sweep, jet sweep. Well, one of these times you don't do the jet sweep, right? You just have him go through the motion, and you can even have him go across, never stop, run the wheel. Or, Jason, I will say, orbit motion after an offense uses so much jet sweep can absolutely kill a defense, especially if you tell that they're in man. You get that guy running.
I said that in the freaking Discord a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I love orbit motion.
I said it in the Discord. I said we should be running that orbit motion. Why are we not doing that? Oh,
God. Orbit motion. I mean, that's just a thing of beauty anytime I see it. But that's the perplexing thing with Lebby. It's the veer and shoot offense. Let's understand something about it right now. It will inevitably include cute aspects to it. But the cute aspects to it are meant to be building blocks, which you create a foundation that unlocks something after that. Hence the jet sweeps. We're going to get you to start running more east and west. Then we're going to attack you with the RPO right over the middle. Then we start running down the middle. Then we hit you over top. Like, that's the veer and shoot. Heupel does this a lot, right? Where he'll attack all these different ways, but the cute plays are typically foundational to be able to do something. I hate to be a broken record, but I will say it one more time. At the point where you were winning the north-south rushing attack, inevitably your first down success, your probability of having that goes through the roof exponentially. I don't understand like going back to so much of the cute stuff when you already had
You've already established the run. And why would you run a run? Why are you running a damn receiver? And he gets a fumble. They had 3 fumbles and 3. I mean, you had the kick, and then you have that stupid receiver run, and he fumbles the damn football. And Shotty, 3 of the. Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, Shotty, 3 of those touchdowns out of that 38 points. Well, 4 of them actually. 4 touchdowns came either off of turnovers inside the red zone or inside their own territory, or then you have the pick 6 early in the game. It wasn't the defense's fault. They made plays.
Yeah.
They made plays. They needed to make one more. And I mean, listen, there's no excuse for Key not catching that football.
Yeah.
There's not.
I don't want to hear the freaking Walker turning his back as well on that play.
Another one. Yes.
Yeah, but that was tough.
This is not on the defense, though, when you're turning the football over and you're running stupid plays. Now, the kick return that you had the fumble on that, that's not good either. But they're not securing the football. There is no way in hell that you should be handing that ball to a damn receiver.
Hey, first off, Spangler and Vernon in here. First off, your name is Vernon. Second off, Spangler, look. Y'all just got to understand, man. Like, look.
Yeah, bro. You guys
y'all won, but come on, bro. Like, be real with yourselves. Be real with yourselves. Like,
well, also everybody on this panel has given. I think each one of us has gone into a soliloquy about Kansas did play a really good game and how they deserve all the respect.
Yeah, come on, man. Like, don't like enjoy your win, but
you can have a nuanced conversation.
We ain't said nothing bad about Kansas. We're being as humble as possible. But the fact of the matter is simply this. I think what pissed me off is that I'm sitting there looking at the safety. I'm like, okay. This safety, he don't know what he want to do. He want to bag up and play deep because he know that they want to throw it, but he kept inching. He kept inching closer to that line. And you sitting there saying, freaking Nick Anderson is on an island. I don't care if it's Kobe Bryant or whoever. Kobe Bryant wants to hit people at 170 pounds. That bothers me.
Yeah, bro. So you guys saying that they have the best secondary? Get out of here with that.
Yeah,
stuff,
you got these guys. And hell, the pass from Dylan at the I don't know who was saying that was a pretty ball. That was a bad ball. Because he threw it because he was behind him. He had to come back to it.
Yeah, but I think he intended that to happen because he was covered up.
Yeah.
He was covered up. There's no two ways around it. Look, guys, in the end, nobody's bad-mouthing. Nobody's even bad-mouthing Kansas, guys. Nobody's doing it. You guys are going to come in here and talk shit like you right here, the new rival being Mizzou. Don't start that crap.
Yeah, bro. I mean, at the end
don't start that crap because that'll get you booted out of here. That's silly shit. Nobody's even bad-mouthing you guys.
No. Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, no.
And you got beat by Okie Light, so shut up.
Here's a question I have for you two. What's the health of Stutzman?
I haven't heard.
He didn't go back in the game.
Because I don't know, but those ankle sprains, man, that's a rough injury. Hopefully he's good because he was having an insane year.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hadn't heard anything about it yet.
Yeah, that's going to be something I'm watching for. You have good linebackers outside of Stutzman. No doubt about that.
My biggest thing was that this was the game right here. Excuse me. Honestly, that I said, hey, we get past this game, especially with the fact that for 2 weeks you're going to see. Because let's be honest, Gundy's going to run some cute stuff here and there, but he's not going to run anything like they're running. He's not going to run anything like UCF or Kansas was running.
Who's making excuses, Alan? Who's making excuses?
Nobody's making any excuses. We're just saying. I mean, I was in it saying Lebby. I mean, I don't know. I'm not even worried about them anymore. But all I got to say is simply just right here is that we're not going to see any offenses like this again. A lot of people they're just going to go to the quick out game, the quick pitch game, different things like that. And defensively, I feel comfortable with the defense. I'm still high on the defense even after today. I'm not worried about that. But what I am worried about is that offensively coming to games, I don't know who we are. Yeah. I you know what? Ty loves to say this all the time, especially last year about us and a couple other teams. I don't know offensively if we have an identity. I don't think y'all do this year. To be quite honest, you're just an offense that has a veteran quarterback and plays well. But and understand, you can play well, but you will always have snags if you don't have that identity. And I think you hit your nail on the head, Chris. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead. Keep going.
No, I'm done. Like, it's a good offense. There's no doubt about it. But
it's a good offense whenever he lets it go, whenever he stops trying to be cute and he just goes and attacks. Then they're fine. But look at this. Here's the other thing. We talked about this inability to play with any kind of look. They've got to start not getting so many damn penalties. 11 for 101. 11 for 101. Not even just talking about the one on the slide. And Pearson he has to stop with this stuff. He has to stop with this. I love it that he hits people. Bro, don't hit him outside the play and get a 15-yard penalty. Or on the goal line, get it to where they get another 3 shots. Bottom line, 11 penalties, 101 yards there. Then you have the 3 turnovers. And listen, all 3 of them resulted in touchdowns or in points for no, actually that last one didn't. They did hold up to that last one. But then they went out there and then they also forced 3 turnovers as well. So they're still there in the turnover department. Look, I'm glad that the defense can stand up and do what it needs to do because that's been the missing piece. And that's what we have to remember, okay? The defense has been the missing link on this football team for a while. Now, all of a sudden, the offense is going to sputter. And it's not because you don't have talent. You have a better wide receiving core than anybody in the Big 12 because it's deeper. I'm not saying that you have the best receiver overall or anything. I'm saying you have depth-wise, there's no receiving core that should be able to stand up to this one. The running back situation, it's not as complicated as it freaking seems. It's not as complicated as it seems. Run the ball between the tackles. 23 carries, 146. Come on.
You're asking a lot. You're asking a lot of Jeff Lebby.
What? To run between the tackles and quit putting freaking receivers in the backfield?
Yes, when it makes sense.
Bullshit. And that's where somebody in here said something about if BV wants to save his job. I don't want to hear shit about BV on that. BV has saved his job and then some. That's silly talk. Don't be that guy. But this needs to get unscrewed right now. Stand up, tell him, hey. But that was the thing is BV, he was fixing to go for it when it was 4th and 7, and then you get a penalty.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was one of those games where by the time the fourth quarter had come around, Kansas, I mean, they just had their rhythm. Yeah. I think a lot of people. I mean, I sent y'all in the group chat.
Jason Bean was good, man. We told you
everybody.
Well,
I've said Bean. I mean, listen, he came from UNT, a fast guy. He's a good quarterback, much better than people give him credit for. But
he's 15 to 32, man. I mean, there's no reason you shouldn't win.
No doubt, but I mean, that last drive, he had 1 minute and 56 seconds left, and he drove the field.
Yeah, a 4th down and a 3rd and long. He gets wide open receivers on both of them, and he hit them.
That. All I know is this right here is that they
were trying to make it a 3-point play, Thunder. They were trying to make it a 3-point game. That's it.
I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna call it what it is. This could be the clip of the week. Jeff Lebby. Excuse my language. Well, no, I'm not even gonna say that word, but I'm gonna say this right here. Jeff Lebby could screw up a wet dream for sure, and that wet dream was 12-0. It was right there in front of us, and now we have to regroup, go on the road, play, and I'm not even gonna call it a hostile environment. Just play. They're gonna be emotional. They're gonna probably beat Cincinnati, go down there, beat those boys, and then we have to figure out these last 3 games, man. Because the thing is that the same play calling that you saw today is what got you beat at West Virginia last year. And West Virginia is the same team that they were last year. Let's just be quite frank. And they're going to try to run the same stuff. You go to BYU. BYU can't run the ball to save their lives. Their offense has really sputtered. Their team has kind of sputtered down this stretch. But what team are you going to be? Are you going to give them a chance to stay inside of the game? You know that they're going to be physical. What are you going to do? Then lastly, you play TCU. You don't know what you're going to get from these teams, but the fact of the matter is that you have to take them out of the game early. You have to start fast as an offense because that's the only way that you're going to be able to stay on track. Because Jeff Lebby, it shouldn't take that much. And I think the problem for me is that we've seen this for the last 4 years, to be honest with you, not just with Lebby, but also with Lincoln down the stretches as well. And this is not even to bash Lincoln or whatever the case may be, but it's just the fact that inconsistent play calling, especially Ty said it before we even came on, situational play calling has been terrible. Why not air that thing out at some point on that? Not the very last drive, but the drive before that. Why not air it out on some of those earlier downs and try to figure it out? I mean, that was the whole thing. All you needed was one first down. One first down. And that was going to put them in a bind. Even if you did punt, you're probably punting with probably a minute 10, somewhere between 50 seconds and a minute 10 on the clock. So somebody, to me, I have no problem with Venables. But one thing I will say that he needs to do, in my opinion, Venables needs to call up there to Lebby and say, hey, man, run the damn ball, dude. We got to just play straight up.
Yeah.
Play straight up.
Well, and that's the other thing that I'm saying is that they haven't had the O-line gel really this year because of the injuries, and you've got a lot of mix and matching it's been going on all season, right? So when you start doing stuff where you got guards pulling that ain't normal guards and they're not in the right position and stuff like that, that doesn't make any damn sense. When you can run a zone blocking scheme, which is the best blocking scheme there is anyway, run the zone and just make it simple. And you got a guy that Tawi is a thumper for a runner, dude. Yeah. He bounces off dudes all day long. And the head coach is accountable for everything, good or bad. You're right, coach. Absolutely.
That's true.
The game is not just on Lebby though. It's not. It's on everybody, but Lebby is a big part of the problem. There's no two ways around it, guys. But here's the thing. BV is the head coach, and he can make the call and say, look, figure it out, run between the damn tackles. That's all we need. And that's where as a head coach, you have to be able to make that decision. How many times, Ty, think about Nick Saban when I was on Blitz City last night and we were talking about that Miami deal at Georgia Tech. And I said, could you imagine if Nick Saban heard them saying that they were going to run the damn football instead of getting into a victory formation? It would have never got to that. So listen, don't tell me he doesn't hear the play being called. He knows what the plays are.
Yeah. You're not wrong there.
DCP, what in the hell are you talking about that they lost because of the defense? They did not lose because of the defense.
I think he's meaning like literally the defense had an opportunity after OU's offense gave them the lead, and Kansas with 1 minute and 50 seconds left went down and took it. Which is why I say, look, there's a lot of blame to go around, but I think for me, DC, it goes back to this. If your offense isn't capitalizing consistently on opportunities, then you got to be able to do something. And the defense was asked. I mean, they had a lot asked of them, but yeah, I think there's a lot of blame to go around.
The place, yeah, no, I agree. There's look, and the defense, yeah, you needed to make a stop there, and they're still, if there's anything going on there, they're still having issues with that eye discipline. Both of those, the third and fourth down conversions on that last drive of Kansas. I mean, they were blown coverages both times. The referees were a big part. Which ones? What are we talking about? What did you see that was egregious on the officials' part there, Chris? Anything? I did. It wasn't that. It's undisciplined play. It's undisciplined play. We talked about it last week. Start talking with your freaking pads. Stop running your damn mouth. Stop doing stupid stuff like why would you even hit him, Pearson? He's a 6th year freaking defensive back, and he don't know not to hit anybody when they're sliding. He's down. It's 4th down if he doesn't hit him.
Yeah, listen, the only thing I can say is when you have a running quarterback, those things can come up. He hit him way too up high. It would have been a penalty either way. Yeah, I understand that, but against a running quarterback, that can happen, especially a running quarterback as effective as Bean. You're going to be inclined to go for
Bird's
the tackle.
Late hit. Yep. Birds, yeah. And then, they had a first down called back too. Look, guys, none of this stuff was, I'm not going to blame the Big 12 officials here. Not doing it. Thanks for the super chat, Alan Berry. Didn't Saban try to get Lebby to Alabama this past offseason? Yes.
They tried to interview him. He was on a list of people to interview. Yeah.
Yeah. He went back at him more than once that I know of, but I know that so did Georgia for that matter.
Well, yeah, like the hiring process at Bama, the people that they were interviewing a bunch of people, and they always do this. They go through their interview process, then loop back around. In fairness, Lebby didn't even come for the interview, but they did try to get him to come in for an interview. He didn't come to the interview though. Unfortunate, but yeah, it is what it is. He didn't want to leave.
He got more money out of it, is what he did.
He did get more money out of it, but he was, from what I understand, like he was, even when we offered more, or would have offered more, I guess, like, right, with the salary of the position, he still wasn't inclined to come take the interview. So yeah.
Look, all I'll say about this, Alan, if things don't change quickly, they don't go 11-1. Probably not. Probably not. But sometimes it takes a loss to change shit. To make a change, you got to catch one. Look, I don't think that the whole thing is like beyond repair when it comes to Jeff Lebby. I don't. Am I pissed off about the way he's been calling it? Yes.
Ty, when you do your show on Monday, I want you to bring up that identity piece.
I hope I have the all 22 by then, and then I can really try to figure out the hell happened.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just one of those things. It's not even losing to Kansas, to be honest with you. Like I said, I have no problems with what they did.
They played really well,
you
man.
Gotta be,
Who's
you
number
gotta
one,
be,
Jason?
Huh?
Who's number one?
It was
that cat was playing well.
Bro, he was balling
really
out.
well. Really well. I was really impressed with his change of direction.
But DG punked him on that play though.
Oh, DG made a great play, no doubt about it. But I'll put it like this. That edge made a play that you don't typically like. That edge switched direction so quick and made DG get that touchdown. I was really impressed that he was able to at least make it that much of a contention. And then 90 on that jet
Logan
sweep,
is who number one is.
Yeah. He had some really good plays today. He stood out. Why does OU put receivers in the backfield? DCP stories? That is the question of.
Okay. The last couple of weeks, you would have known. We were bitching about this for a while now.
Here's the beautiful thing, OU fans, because I'm an outside voice looking in. If I may, I'm going to ask you two some questions right now. What is up with Barnes? Is it injury? Like, what's up with the guy who had 500 yards behind the guy that had 1,400 all-purpose yards last year? Is a shadow like not there?
He had a surgery in the off season. He
foot surgery. Okay, that's
yeah. And according to BV, but see, we keep hearing different things about that.
Because if he's that hurt, why was he in the game today?
I don't think that that's the case. I think that whatever it is much. And look, I think a lot of it has to do with maybe our running backs coach doesn't get along with our running backs very well, because he holds them out all the damn time, and we haven't had a consistent running back attack all season. I love DeMarco Murray, don't get me wrong, and he's recruiting his ass off and everything else. I'm just asking the question, what's the problem that you continue to, there's always something, and the whispers it's always whispers too, that they're not getting along with DeMarco. That's what happened with Tawi last week. They got into it. I don't know why, but they suspended him from the game. He comes back in and goes for 143, and then doesn't get the ball in when he needed it.
Yeah,
but why? That's the whole thing. Is why in the hell do you have receivers running in the backfield when you've got 6 guys that could run?
You can't give me, and I understand people are saying the foot injury, but then I guess my question is if you're that concerned about the foot injury, then aren't you as a coach doing him a disservice by putting him in the game in crunch time? Like, isn't that the consummate irresponsible thing to do? Oh, when we've already lost the game, now I'm going to feed him to the Wolves? That would be problematic. So I don't think it's that. So what is it?
When did I say that, bro? When did I say that? I said I'm asking the question. We're hearing whispers. Don't come in here saying stupid shit like that.
So here's I guess my second question. All right. What's up with Majors? Major. I'm sorry. Major.
He hasn't been real good in the last 4 or 5 weeks. I mean, he'll have a good run and he'll have a bad one. You know,
he's been dealing with some injuries too as well.
And he has been too. And he's been injury prone since he got there.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
yeah, and I think Unk's probably right. He says Barnes is probably more mental than anything. Look, when you go through a surgery, it's hard to put the weight back on it.
That's a very fair take. There's no doubt about that. That's a very fair take. Very fair take. How's the interior offensive line? Because I started watching probably second half. I had it on the 4 quad cam. And then in the third quarter, that's when I clicked it to focus specifically on Oklahoma. Interior offensive line, how's that looking? Because there's an area on your offensive line that we haven't talked about in a while, but Chris, you and I have talked about it in private for a while. How has that been?
I'll be honest with you. I'm ready for Rain to be done because I feel like as much as we were spoiled with Kyler, with Baker, guys like that we're used to seeing, we were spoiled with Creed Humphrey as well. I'm not used to this type of play, the level of play that he's put out at OU, to be honest with you, at center. It's not great. And the fact of the matter is that you put Matuara in there. Matuara is on his last leg as well. He needs, either you're going to let him heal or not. Run out there with Caden Green. Let him make those mistakes. Bird
at least you can say he was a freshman making a freshman mistake.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
As talented as Bird is, man, as the much potential as he has this year, he just has not put it together either. And they were all good in spurts, but the fact of the matter is that it's been piss poor. It's not where you need it to be. And that's what is so important for this offense is that, well, that's the thing that kind of pisses me off because I saw it. You see this offensive line from time to time. There's certain drives that they string together where the pass blocking is incredible. And then also the run blocking is really good. But the fact of the matter is our running backs don't find the holes. They're not patient enough. They don't have that Kennedy Brooks or that Eric. Kennedy Brooks had the patience. Eric Gray had the moves to be able to be able to win those one-on-one battles with that linebacker or that safety coming down. So the fact of the matter is that early on in the game, you go away from Sawchuk, one of the interception that Dillon threw, you're sitting there saying, Lebby, just run the ball. Lebby, just run the ball. You just picked up 8 yards. You just picked up this amount of many yards. It's 3rd and 3. Just run the ball. You had the one-on-one matchup you wanted when you came. If he would have chose to go through the left hole, and he would have been fine. But you fake it, and then Dillon holds it, throws it, and then it's a pick 6. So, I mean, stuff like that is what gets you early on in the game because you don't build any rhythm. You go away from the stuff that works. But, I mean, to answer your question directly, it's just the fact that that interior offensive line is inconsistent. They win battles, but they lose battles. But most of the time, they're winning battles. It's just we don't get the run game that we needed. But today, you were able to establish that. You were able to establish the run. We've been asking you to establish the run all year. And I know some people are going to say it seems like you're contradicting yourself. I'm not. Because the fact of the matter is that we would establish the run and then go right away from it and run jet sweeps and go east-west. And we weren't running north-south.
Well, you established run, but then what did you do with it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Nothing. Jason, could you do me a favor? Could you highlight Electrician Rich? He has a comment. He said he's asking a question. He says, "Do you think OU running out the shotgun has been at all helpful?" Listen, I'm going to sound like such a boomer here, and I'm not saying this about Dylan Gabriel or Oklahoma. I'm saying this is a take on modern college football, right? So this isn't a take on Oklahoma. This is a take on a lot of these QBs, Rich, quite frankly, and it's not their fault, they don't go under center ever, to the point where I talked about this last week. Alabama versus Tennessee. You have Joe Milton. He's 6'5", 250 pounds. Josh Heupel is gifted with a 4th and inches. And what does he do in his infinite wisdom? Well, he, being related to Pythagoras of Pythagorean's theorem, he decides that the easiest way to gain 6 inches isn't to just line up and do this to gain 6 inches. It's actually to go back and try and gain 12 feet and 6 inches. So this is a plague across college football, Rich. you see so little, proportionately speaking, right? Like for relative to how many college football offenses there are in Power 5, you see so little under center stuff anymore. It fires me up because I'm young, right? I'm 28, but I mean, damn, man, I grew up in a North Texas offense, Gainesville, where we were running the wing T when I was still there. So I'm very much like I form under center, like that's what, we ran the football all the time. And it's just these young quarterbacks, they're not asked to go under center. And I know that sounds like an arbitrary distinction. What difference is it taking the ball under center as opposed to taking the ball out the shotgun? But it is a difference. It messes with your drop back timing. It tinkers with a lot. And once again, that's not saying that this is a comment on Dylan Gabriel. He's a veteran quarterback, and just kind of the way he plays, I have every reason to believe he could pick up under center stuff very easy. He is shorter, but he doesn't get he's good at finding his passing lanes, which is what you want out of a shorter quarterback. But I mean, Coach, I really wish Coach was on here, Jason, so he could talk about this.
Yeah, he's got a link in his stuff.
But I just think that you don't see a lot of people asked. It's Jason, my man. He says I played in the wing T offense in high school. It was awesome. I was terrible, but it was awesome. So it was what it was. Yeah, you just don't see it anymore, Rich. And I know that's a long way to say. Unfortunately, running out the shotgun, that's just the way it's done now in college football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and bottom line, you don't take them and put them under. You don't take them and put them under center when they're a shotgun team. You don't. That's just not. That's not the offense that they run. No. It's not the offense that they've ran in freaking 15 years, man. Why would you even? It's not something that you just change overnight.
No, I just wanted to take the opportunity to be a boomer and rant about.
And I agree. I agree with I agree with what you're saying 100%. You just don't do it. It's not something you do. It's like Coach will tell you right now. That's not something that you do. You either run under center or you get in the shotgun, or if you're a pistol guy, that's what you do.
Oh, if I had it my way, we'd see so much more pistol. Oh, I think you can just absolutely tear defenses to shreds with the
that pistol. Allows you to get guys running downhill while still not having to be under center sometimes.
So much, especially if you've got good tight ends, fullbacks. Like, oh my God, so much fun. Plays under center becomes situational. I agree with that, Coach.
And back to linebacker, from linebacker to fullback. Wow, he could play fullback. He hadn't played linebacker worth of shit lately.
Why was he out of the game at one point? At one point, he was standing next to.
He keeps making mistakes. He keeps making mistakes. He's done it a lot all year. He's had good games. He's had really good games, and he's had awful ones.
No doubt. Jason says under center is still effective, and even Coach points out all teams should have a series of a few plays under center.
If you're going to do it, though.
If you're going to do it, no doubt.
If you're going to do it, you have to absolutely. But it can't be something that you start in the middle of the season. That's something that that has to be. If you want to have a package where you get under center, I'll go for it. In fact, you should. PG, let's be happy. Hey, listen, it's not over yet. Here's the deal. Everything's still out in front of them. They may not. Now, I think in order to get to the college football playoff, how many times have I said that they probably needed to be undefeated? So now they need a lot of help.
Oh, yeah, that's a conversation where it gets.
They have to win out, and they need help. Now, the conversation does not need to be about the CFP. They should have put that in this week, Coach. Oh, man. You would have changed something in the middle of the season because I think I know you better.
Steven asks, where do you go from here? You keep I said this a week ago, and my take is the same. You keep the main thing the main thing.
Yeah, you're still going after the conference championship is what you're after.
You keep the main thing the main thing.
That's the whole point. You still are in the lead for it, for the conference championship. You can still go and you're in position to play for it at the end of the year. That's got to be most important. But you got to win out either way. You got to go win. This just got rid of your breathing room. And again, what did we say? We said it earlier this week. Chris, we talked about it on Tuesday. And we talked about it last Saturday too. If they were to make the CFP this year, they would have been at least a year ahead.
You're at least a year ahead of schedule.
Very ahead. You're already ahead of schedule, guys.
Yeah.
Hold on. Allow me 1 second, because I am from the outside looking in, and I feel like y'all are biased, right? You have your crimson lenses, as you should, but allow someone who has no bone in this fight. You're ahead of schedule already. The fact that your defense is a top 25 defense in most every major category, right? Year round, that's ahead of schedule, right? You're recruiting. The fact that this will be Brent Venables, if he continues this up with the addition of Reggie Powers today, big addition, by the way, 4-star safety out of Ohio. That's a great win. Look for him to play Cheetah. Text PG. He plays just like a Cheetah. I did that video earlier in the week. He committed during the game. So big win for Oklahoma there, but your recruiting is ahead of schedule. You're recruiting better than you were when you had Lincoln Riley, and you went to the college football playoffs. And I understand people can be like, well, Riley utilizes the portal. Well, damn, so does Venables. He's taking top 10 in recruiting and top 10. So you're ahead of schedule in a lot of ways. Now, that's not meant to minimize this loss, right? Or to take away from anything from this loss, because the game was there to be won. Kansas made the plays, Oklahoma didn't. It happens. That's the beautiful thing about football. But you are already, like, today, even considering, you are already ahead of schedule. You are already building towards something very positive. The biggest thing Oklahoma needed with this year was to tell all these recruits, symbolically, of course, this move to the SEC, we're going to be okay, right? Like, we're going to keep everything in front of us. We are a team you should believe in. And they've done that with the turnaround with Brent Venables. You're already ahead of schedule, in my opinion. Now, I understand this stings because of what could been. But if we keep everything in front of us and everything in perspective, this does not look like a team that a year ago had a losing record. This does not look like a team that got gutted by a college football playoff coach that took a Heisman Trophy quarterback. All those things, guys, that's the nuance we need to remember in this conversation.
Yep.
Skater says, roll Tide, roll hasn't fell off. Listen, Alabama's had their lumps, no doubt about it, but that's what's made this Alabama dynasty different, Skater, right? Is the consistency of it, where it's like 2 losses and the sky's falling. Yeah, it's just well-coached team and good recruiting.
PG, and PG, I see the comment. PG, you know you're my boy, but PG, what is fine about this? People need it. What is fine about this? There's nothing that is fine, because no, there's nothing fine about this, man. There's nothing fine about this. It's not chill time. It's not none of that stuff. At the end of the day, it's a shame that we're sitting here saying, oh, we got a lot to improve. We need to get this better. You are what you are.
No doubt about it. And Chris, you're going to love this, because you said I say it a lot, and I'm going to say it once more. 2 things can be true, right? Like, you can be ahead of schedule, and we can be critical of the loss while understanding in the grand scheme of this, you're ahead of schedule.
At the start of the week, before they lost the game, we said, look, they would be ahead of schedule, but at this point, you need to go handle this and get it done and win out.
And this is the crazy thing. Now we got this guy saying so Venables is limited.
Because listen, the intro sucks. Let's just be real about it. It isn't good.
Like, at the end of the day, as you could say, Leipold, hey, I like Lance Leipold, but Leipold is very limited. He's working with limited space.
You mean limited in terms of not being there long? That dude, I think he can coach, man. Like, that dude can coach. Get him out of here.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Quentin just began. Where is it? Here it is. So Kansas's record from 2010 to 2021 was 23 wins, 118 losses. Kansas's record the last 2 seasons under Leipold, 12-9. Including 6. The dude is doing an unbelievable job. And that needs, but Jason, I do I do disagree with you in terms of like your assessment on Brent, but the dude's in his second year as a head coach and was undefeated up to this point. Like, it is way too early to start capping coaches in 2 years. Way too early for that.
Not
Venables,
this Jason, somebody else, right?
No, Jason Spangler, the Kansas fan who's been
he doesn't know anything.
He's been giving us some good comments in here.
He knows hoops.
He's given us some good comments, but I do very much will disagree. You cannot put that limitation on Brent Venables in year 2.
Dude, hey, listen, he lost 5 one-score games with freaking Lincoln's leftovers last year. Let's not get it twisted here, guys. Let's not get it twisted here. And you know what, all you Texas fans that want to come in running your mouth, we still beat your ass.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Quentin's broke ass talking to people. If you want to put that $2.99 in here for a super chat, that's
still one of the funniest moments of this whole year. Quentin, you have given me so much joy with that one moment. That was hysterical.
Yeah,
that was hysterical.
Yeah, you want to come in here with those $2.99?
He's been in here running his. He's been crying and making excuses since the Red River, and he's going to come in here running his mouth.
Go with Steven. Go with Steven. You know Steven will love this. He's going to eat it up. But Malik ain't looked that great either. But we'll go from there. But
first off, and everybody realized they're going to beat the hell out of Okie Light next week. You can believe that. Oklahoma's going to beat the shit out of Okie Light.
Yeah,
should. Yes, sir. Should.
So, fellas, that's not. I mean, y'all can keep going. There's not a lot left for me. Look,
there's not a ton to say. Here's what I would probably end on, and then I'll pass it to you guys for your closing thoughts. Here's all I'm going to say right now: is that Oklahoma still has everything out in front of them to go back to the conference championship. As we said, there was a lot of expectations that probably shouldn't be there on a second-year coach, just like Ty just said. They're making mistakes that are correctable, but need to be corrected. And then you have an offense that is one of the top offenses in the country, despite a coordinator that seems bent on handcuffing one hand behind their back. It's not over yet. The defense, and look, the bottom line is the one thing that everybody spoke about coming into this season, the one thing was not having to be perfect on offense because you have a defense that can get it done. Not only do you already have that, it only gets better starting next season. The guys that they have coming in are going to make a difference. The guys that are freshmen this year that aren't playing enough. And here's the one other thing that I'm going to say. Put Peyton Bowen in the damn game. Put him in the damn game. But at this point, why not? Why aren't you? In the end, everything is still out in front of them. Everything is still out in front of them, and they're going to get better on defense. And look, when you have to be perfect, and the offense did put the defense in bad positions today. You stuck them inside that freaking their own territory too many times to expect them to make stops on every one of them. I don't know what's going on with Bowen. I thought maybe you would know, PG, but here's the thing. Yeah, Coach, not happening. But they need to play him. They need to play him. But they're recruiting unbelievably well. They keep on picking up amazing freaking safety after amazing safety. They got 6 blue chip defensive linemen coming in this class. And they had all those top 100 defensive players in the class this year. Makari Vickers, those guys, you're going to start seeing some of these guys that are going to make big contributions in the future. The future's bright, but they still have something to play for this season. Unlike USC and freaking some of these other big talking teams. I did want to ask that of you guys real quick because I don't want to talk that much more about Oklahoma anyway. What the hell is Lincoln talking about them stealing signs the other day or last weekend?
Who knows, man? I made a video. Oh, Chris, you didn't hear about this? So Lincoln Riley accused Kyle Whittingham of stealing signs. Now, important to note, he didn't accuse him overtly of doing anything illegal to obtain the signs, only that Utah was good at getting them through the course of a game. So he's like, oh, well, that's why. He was asked why they had the screens covering the play calls. And he said, that's why. And my thing was, well, if you knew that, then why didn't you just switch up what the signals meant? That way you still maintain the same signals, but they mean something different.
Because then he wouldn't have an excuse. Super chat from Alpha Dragon Gaming. We should beat the hell out of Oklahoma State, but we also should have dominated KU. This loss hurts, but man, we got a bright future with this young team.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It's very fair.
I'm gonna end it here. I'm just gonna say this right here. Hey, you gotta be humble when you win. You know, you gotta love those wins and all the rest of that stuff, but you gotta be humble in defeat. Hats off to Kansas. Kansas did what they needed to do. They came in, they won the game. Fact of the matter is that it's not going back to the drawing board. It's just it's just calling the right plays. It's coming from up top. There's no excuses for Lebby. He's in year 2. This is his offense. He has full command of the offense. Nobody messes with it. He has to he's going to have to figure something out. And he's going to have to be consistent. I don't see how you can sit all the way up and look at the field and not see. You know what I'm saying? That you can't see. You sit in a damn box. Like I said before, when I first came on here, fact of the matter is this right here. We have an offensive coordinator who in certain situations outside of the Texas game has not looked good. Okay. We got an interception that we needed, made an incredible play on the ball. Ethan Downs made an incredible play, got the interception.
Yeah, no doubt.
He's
been a breath of fresh air.
He's been having a great year.
2 minutes and some change on the clock.
Breath of fresh air.
2 minutes and some change on the clock, and you can't call 3 plays to even move the ball, to even do anything. You wait until 4th and 7 to call something. It shows a lot. This is not on any of the players. We could talk about Kanai Walker. We talk about Key Lawrence should have picked it up. We can do all the rest of that stuff. Coach can get on here and say, yeah, your haircut. No, this is, for me, this is on Lebby. Lebby has to look himself in the mirror and just say, hey, man, that's on me. I put us in a lot of bad spots. Consistency is all I'm looking for from this offense for the rest of the year. It's just being consistent. If we could build on that, we'll be fine. But I don't know if we're going to be able to be consistent.
Ty?
Yeah. Listen, I said this after the game before y'all had your bye, I think, after that game, when I said, you got to keep the main thing. And what that means is you still have a job out in front of you. You have got to execute. In so many words, play Oklahoma football. Figure out what that means. Your season is still in front of you. You still have got big games in front of you. You still have the opportunity to play for a Big 12 championship. So you've got your season ahead of you. All good, but you have got to keep the main thing. This is going to be really interesting how Oklahoma responds from this game, because this is a team that's been riding a high. You want them to respond well. I think everybody on the panel would agree. We think they will respond well. Time to see, right? This is the first time where you got punched in the jaw, and when you punched back, they slipped and countered. You've been hitting them with the counter knockouts. They caught you this time. What do you do next week? And that can tell a lot about a team that, in my opinion, is still ahead of schedule from where they probably should be.
Yeah. Well said. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind me taking over, ladies and gentlemen.
Shady mile on this depressing day, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, hey, Horns Down Podcast, Hall of Fame football, Hall of Fame college football podcast with Jason. You got a Round the Table Sports. People like, subscribe, do all of that. We're content makers. We're content creators. We're just trying to enlarge our community and all the rest of that. So go ahead, man. Give us a like. Give us all of that. And all you Texas fans and Kansas fans, go ahead and like this video as well. Go ahead and subscribe as well. So kind of is what it is, man. We just got to get back on track next week, man. That's all it is. Get people healthy and let's go. Pretty much it.
Yep. Folks, if you haven't hit that like button, I don't know why, but we'd appreciate it if you would. But listen, guys, it's not over with yet. I mean, they still have everything out in front of them, even though you have the fake OU fan, Sooner Cowboy, who's really a Georgia fan in here running in his mouth. They got it in front of them, but it's not going to be something that's going to get handed to them. That's for sure. What's the one thing everybody in the Big 12 has said? That they want to just screw it up for Texas and Oklahoma. That's it. That's all they're playing for. That's all they're playing for. Hopefully they'll get it. Hey, look, sometimes it takes a loss to get things corrected. Sometimes it's just what it takes.
That's true.
No, Nathan, I think they do. I think they're going to beat the brakes off of Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's been opening their mouth for a long time, 2 years now, and they're not that good, man. Yeah. Somebody, he's not on my channel or he'd be gone already, Jimmy.
Who is it?
Believe that. Sooner Cowboys. Anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Check us out tonight. You can see me over on the Saturday Night Snap Count on the Fanatic Sports Network with Coach I, Shoddy. Probably be quite a few people in there. So get over there and check it out. Make sure you get over there. Hey, if you haven't already subscribed or hit the like button, try to do that on all three of the streams. We're in here taking the heat from everybody. We're taking heat from all you guys. You didn't play today, by the way, or coach. So make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to all the channels. We appreciate you guys all coming in. See you on the next one. Ooh, let me get there.